What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City daily transfer update. It's my last daily Manchester City transfer update of the summer transfer window. Not my last Manchester City transfer video, though. Going live later on today with my final episode of the transfer show, where we'll speak more about the business that City have done this summer and looking towards the winter transfer window, and also looking towards next summer for you guys to enjoy. That's already live on my channel if you want to go and set your reminders for that. We're going live at 4:30 p.m. BST today, and I will be back again tomorrow with my final transfer video of the summer, where I'll be reviewing Manchester City's performance in the transfer window. So before I do crack on with this update, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe. It is free to subscribe. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim, and do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below. So we're going to crack on with this video. For a change, we've got no outs to speak about. It's all done and dusted in terms of the outs. We do have a little bit of contract news though. Takes us on to an update on James McAtee, and Sam Lee has given some more information about these bids that came in for James McAtee and interest in the summer, which Manchester City have fought really hard to fend off interest in McAtee to keep him at the club, including Manchester City turning down a bid of up to £30 million this summer to keep James McAtee at the club. So Sam Lee has said that not only have City fought hard to keep McAtee at the club, their plan now is for him to sign a new contract in the coming weeks or months. It would be a new contract and a new wage for him, which would represent him being part of the Manchester City first team squad, which is fantastic news for James McAtee. Shows that he is making progress up that pay scale at Manchester City, and shows just how highly valued he is at the club. He's in for a very big season for City. He's going to get a ton of appearances on the bench for Manchester City. He will be getting regular minutes because City's squad is stretched as thin as it can go, in my opinion. And Manchester City, once we get back after the international break, from now on probably through to the end of the season, are going to be playing every 3 to 4 days, which means squad rotation, fatigue, injuries are going to play a big part in the Manchester City season, which means there's going to be plenty of minutes available for every single player that is part of the Manchester City first team squad, including that of James McAtee. So it'll be really interesting to see just how many minutes he gets for City, and also how many starts he's getting for the club as well. He'll be looking to really push himself and go further above and beyond, and really look to try and solidify himself now as a Manchester City first team regular, which I fully believe that James McAtee is capable of. He's had a couple of very good loan spells with Sheffield United. A couple of seasons ago in the Championship was one of their best players. Came forward, stepped up in the Premier League, looked good last season, so he's got a season of Premier League regular experience under his belt as well, and we're now looking for him to really push on and go above and beyond, which I'm sure he is capable of doing. It'll be interesting to see how he adapts and responds to not starting week in, week out, but when he gets given his opportunity, how is he going to take that opportunity, and how is he going to fight off competition in his positions where he can play pretty versatile, can play across midfield and can play out wide as well. A really technically gifted player, and I'm excited to see more of James McAtee. Look very tidy, look very good during pre-season, so I'm excited to get him on a new contract. It'll be really good to see. It's good to see young academy players not just being promoted and making it in the first team, but players who also are given their opportunity out on loan, showing that it's not always a case where you're just going to keep being loaned out season upon season upon season, or being sold permanently with some buyback clauses that Man City never take up the option of bringing back. If you do head out on loan and you do impress, on pre-season, there's every opportunity that you can return to Manchester City and make it. So it'll be a really good story if that could be the case with James McAtee as well. Putting him on a new deal makes complete sense for all parties, with everybody involved, right from Manchester City and James McAtee himself. So hopefully that will get done, and will get done soon. And he won't be the only contract that City will be eyeing up. We've got plenty of contracts to sort, including what's happening with Pep Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne, Ederson, and more. Now, moving on to the end, transfer deadline day did see one of Manchester City's targets join another club. That's in the form of Orri Oskarsson from FC Copenhagen. Now, he signed for Real Sociedad on transfer deadline day for €20 million, so less than £20 million. Manchester City could have signed a backup striker, but they chose not to do so. He joins Real Sociedad instead. So that right now, is that done and dusted? I'm not saying that's done and dusted if City are seriously interested in Oskarsson, that a deal could be negotiated at some point in the future in the coming years with Real Sociedad. But in terms of City signing Oskarsson from FC Copenhagen, it hasn't happened, and he's going to be spending his future in La Liga. So I do wonder now, heading into the winter transfer market, because we've already seen Pep Guardiola speak about maybe it's a mistake that we didn't sign a striker, is what Pep Guardiola's exact words were. And we know that if there's any setback to Oscar Bob's injury from his fractured leg, then all of a sudden Manchester City's squad, by the time we get to January, will be showing a lot of wear and tear. We're playing 2 extra Champions League games this season. If we do decide to take serious the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup as well, we're going to be playing more games than ever. And at the end of summer, we've also got the Club World Cup, where we're playing, guess what, even more games. So Manchester City are going to need a really good sized squad, and at the moment it's stretched as thin as it can go. Now, we do have competition all over the pitch. We have players who can play everywhere. We have players who can provide competitive competition with Erling Haaland. I think the plan was for the player trying to put pressure on Erling Haaland up top was going to be Oscar Bob. So if Haaland needs a rest or Haaland gets injured, then you've got Oscar Bob ready to come in. But I can't help but sit here and feel a little concerned that once we're playing every 3 to 4 days with the injury record that Erling Haaland has, which is normally every single season he'll pick up some kind of injury that will keep him out for a few weeks, even to a couple of months like we saw last season, means we don't have that option there. We've got players who can play in attack. Jack Grealish, Phil Foden's more than likely going to be that player that will go into the false 9. But you've also got players like Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, who can all occupy it. But all them players that I've just named to you can play there, but it's not their natural position, and none of them players that I just named to you there are out-and-out strikers and natural goal scorers. And I can't help but feel like we're just one player short in this window of having a backup striker, a clinical striker, who's really good at reading the game and putting the ball into the back of the net. And you had someone like Oskarsson available here for less than €20 million. Man City could have made it happen. They chose not to. In my opinion, Kyogo would have been a brilliant option at Celtic, available for an extra £5 million on top of what Oskarsson has cost, and his movement is fantastic. I know that he turns 29 this year, and it's not ideal that he's not got any sell-on value, but if you tie him down to a 4-year contract, for example, for £25 million, you've got a player here for 4 years whose movement is fantastic, his reading of the game is very good, and also his finishing is very good as well, who's already climatised to British culture and to the weather as well. To me, would have been a shrewd bit of business. It wouldn't have cost the bank. Man City's net profits would still have stood at above £80 million for the summer. Our net spend would have looked very healthy, and an issue in our squad would have been tied up. So I do wonder that if there does become a potential problem where Haaland's needing more of a rest by the time we get to January, which if he's picked up no injuries and he's playing every 3 to 4 days, trust me, we will be needing them options. Or if he picks up an injury, then Manchester City may choose to just dip into the winter transfer window. Now, City don't normally do that. I don't think we will do that unless Oscar Bob's injury ends up not going, his recovery from it doesn't end up going as well as what we expect. And if that is the case, then maybe, just maybe, Man City may look at a backup striker. If it was up to me right now, Kyogo would be the player I'd be looking at. But what we are giving ourselves is time through September, October, November and December to make a decision to identify other targets, scout other players, look at their information, look at how much money they're asking for, what's the transfer fee going to be, what's the agent fees going to be, what's the wages going to cost us, does the deal make sense? Do Manchester City want to dip in for an experienced player and maybe someone who's a little bit older, or do they want to go for an upcoming talent, someone who's rawer and younger, and adapt them to the squad? What do they want from the transfer window? I'm not too sure City had that answer in the summer transfer window, and because they're not 100% sure, they've chosen not to dip into the market. And if you do have some doubts, you are best not making that transfer happen, because the last thing you want to do is spend loads of money on a player who isn't right, in particular if it's it's an experienced player because there's no sell-on value. You end up with a player that's stuck here. So this is Man City being very careful in the market, and this is how Manchester City, maybe 8 to 9 times out of 10, get their transfers absolutely spot on. I trust the club, I back the club, and if the club want to dip into the winter window, which could well happen, then I reckon backup strikers would be the place that City may choose to go and have a look at, with Pep Guardiola already mentioned that it's a risk that they've gone into the season now not replacing Julian Alvarez as Manchester City's backup striker to Erling Haaland. So there we go, that has been today's transfer update. Do let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. 300 likes is the aim. It's the final Manchester City transfer update of the summer. So please do leave a thumbs up. Remember, transfer show later on today, 4:30 PM for you to come and join me for that. I've also done a full review of Manchester City's transfers, which will be out tomorrow for you guys to enjoy my final transfer video of the summer 2024 transfer series for Manchester City for you guys to enjoy. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And I will see you for the transfer show later on today, 4:30 PM BST sharp. I'll see you then for that. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.